The awareness is there, the adoption is going higher, and the fallout in the fiat money world drives adoption. I always say that what drives adoption the most is panic. And as people are panicking out of Silicon Valley Bank and all these other fiat money banks and everything that's happening in the fiat money world, they're looking around for alternatives. And there's only three real money in the world. One is a treasury bill, one is gold, the other is Bitcoin. And the one that's lagging, that's cheap relative to everything else, that offers the most mobility, fungibility, portability, etc., would be Bitcoin. It's a superior form of money. So it's going to attract critical mass. That's continued to attract critical mass. And then it moves from medium of exchange to unit of account, which is essentially your circular economy. So everything is priced in Bitcoin, everything is paid in Bitcoin, the virtual money at that time. So for 20 years, they were looking for how to do money in a digital world. And so in 2008, we saw the white paper. In 2009, the Genesis block. And now in 2023, we know we're on the right path because every single bank in the world and every single central bank in the world and all politicians who are lobbied by bankers in the world are putting all of their effort into trying to stop Bitcoin, which is great because it only makes the hash rate goes up and therefore security goes up and therefore price goes up. So Bitcoin is designed to be attacked and they are attacking it now. And forget about price, just look at hash rate. Look at a chart of hash rate. All that computational power is being thrown at the network.
Just keeps going up.
300
up
quintillion calculations per second, right? And so that's the metric you got to look at. Price, the volatility reflects the fact that the global financial world is fucked up. And this is true price discovery is in Bitcoin price discovery. Bitcoin price shows you how screwed up the world of finance is because it doesn't have bankers and politicians manipulating prices in a way to smooth it out, to make it look like there's no problem. Bitcoin telling you there is a problem. Like the volatility index is an index that used on Wall Street to measure how much risk is in markets, the VIX index. And it tends to be a little bit volatile because it's an index of volatility. Bitcoin is the ultimate volatility index. That's not the thing that's volatile. It's everything outside.
Max Keiser has been known for his controversial way of expressing his opinions about politics, money, and even altcoins. But everyone who loves Bitcoin knows that Max also spits the truth when talking about this asset, his use cases, and why he believes it to be the perfect money compared to any other type of money. In this interview, Max explains in a brilliant way why the fiat money and traditional banking systems are all screwed, and even though some people are trying to destroy Bitcoin, they won't succeed. So please watch everything until the end. This video has a ton of value from the beginning to the end. First and real quick, have you heard about the Bitcoin grenade?
For 5 hours, talk Bitcoin mostly, and there's some great shots of him with these grenades. And I think these grenades speak to the idea of a non-violent revolution that is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a revolution, but it's a revolution that doesn't require violence. And it has attributes from there. I mean, that's the rabbit hole.
What about the banking crisis? What does Max have to say about this?
Banks, as we're seeing, the banks are getting very nervous. And the central banks are getting very nervous. The politicians in Washington, like Liz Warren, for example, and others, Chuck Schumer, they're starting to realize that this Bitcoin is very disruptive to the entire status quo, the entire system. And now they're trying to figure out how to fight back. They're 10 years too late. They're not going to succeed, but they will resort to everything. They'll stop at nothing and resort to anything to try to stop the Bitcoin revolution. And they could do a lot of really silly things and dumb things. And a lot of people could get hurt. I'm hoping that people like Senator Lummis and others in the system who are talking about Bitcoin are more successful and get people in the government to understand Bitcoin more. And as I've been saying now for 5 years, I think what you're going to see around the world is not governments banning Bitcoin, but governments getting involved in what I call the global hash war, the concept I introduced 5 years ago. Where countries are going to be trying to compete with each other to mine and hoard Bitcoin. As the fiat money collapses, as banks collapse, there's really only two choices. That would be gold and Bitcoin. Bitcoin is superior in many, many ways. So I think it's going to take, that's how we get to Bitcoin 2 million.
Yeah.
Is the total collapse of the fiat money world and the recognition that gold is okay, but Bitcoin is better. It's a technology that has transformative properties, and like the printing press with Gutenberg, or the electric light, or you can name these types of epoch-defining technological changes that, and now in the case of Bitcoin, what we've seen is the final capitulation of money to software. You know, up until Bitcoin, just about every single industry in imaginable had become essentially transformed by software. So supermarkets, you know, they're actually software companies. Energy companies are software companies. Software companies are software companies. You know, everything is driven by data and maximizing data. Yield management on an airline, that's a software product, that's an algorithm. So all corporations defer to algorithms and software and computer technology. And so this is what drives the entire economy for all these industries. And that started in the 1970s and just advanced every year since then. The one lagging part of the economy that had yet to capitulate to software would be money. So money itself was still being, and banks were still a 300-year-old paradigm. And so Bitcoin comes around and it takes money into now a 300-year paradigm shift. So that's a huge shift to go from the way the banks were when the Bank of England was created in, I believe, 1692, to suddenly in the 2009, you had this leap, had a quantum leap from the way things were done in 1692 to something new. Here we are in 2009, and that quantum leap, some people got it. Mostly the people who got it initially were people whose brains were adept at finessing very abstract concepts. So hackers and drug users, I would put into that category. And those who were on the fringe of society, typically the outcasts of society, who are forced to operate on the margins and can look at things abstractly. And that's why people like, Amir Taki, who we met back in 2011. If Fortune magazine ran a cover story on Amir that this guy is going to be the first Bitcoin billionaire. He had a conference in Prague in 2011. Stacy and I went to that conference. It was the first real Bitcoin conference. He was somebody who's said that he thought sleep was a construct, an unnatural construct, a societal construct, that he didn't need to sleep. Later it came out that he had a bit of an amphetamine problem, but nevertheless, he went to fight ISIS in the Middle East for a while. I mean, these are people for whom Bitcoin represented a chance to experiment. And the people who experiment on the fringes of society end up coming across ideas and concepts that when they make it to the mainstream of society, transform society.
And now Max spits massive truths again. Take some mental notes and enjoy this explanation.
So with Bitcoin and all money, it starts off as a collectible. Then it moves into a store of value. Then it goes into medium of exchange. Then it becomes unit of account. So with Bitcoin, when I started, you could say it was more in the collectible stage. And then it moves into the store of value stage. And certainly people like Michael Saylor would tell you why they have their cash parked in Bitcoin, because it's protection against the melting ice cube of inflation. That's an argument of Bitcoin as store of value. Despite the volatility, it's still over any 3 or 4 year period, your purchasing power in Bitcoin kills all fiat money and gold, right? It's proven itself as a store of value. So here in El Zonte and in El Salvador, it's already made the leap into medium of exchange because the president made Bitcoin legal tender. Because of Max and Stacy and other media and the legalization of Bitcoin, I guess you could say, it's an odd way to phrase it, but the awareness of Bitcoin is 100%. So everyone in this country has heard of Bitcoin, which is the first step toward adoption. And then actual adoption, I think, is in what the number I hear, 10%, let's say. But when you have 100% awareness of this, it's just a matter of that awareness growing into using it. And that usually takes 3 or 4 years or 4 years. I think the cell phone penetration in El Salvador is roughly 50%. So, I mean, that's without a cell phone, that's obviously an inhibiting factor in adoption. But nevertheless, so you have the awareness is there, the adoption is going higher, and the fallout in the fiat money world drives adoption. I always say that what drives adoption the most is panic. And as people are panicking out of Silicon Valley Bank and all these other fiat money banks and everything that's happening in the fiat money world, they're looking around for alternatives. And there's only 3 real money in the world. One is a treasury bill, one is gold, the other is Bitcoin. And the one that's lagging, that's cheap relative to everything else, that offers the most mobility, fungibility, portability, etc., would be Bitcoin. It's a superior form of money. So it's going to attract critical mass. That's continued to attract critical mass.
In Max's opinion, why is Bitcoin considered perfect money?
Now, as I said before, play back the tape to minute 17, that the Bitcoin offers everything gold was doing, but as better in a digital age. The transformation through software finally arrived in the world of money, and we gave us Bitcoin, which is arguably perfect money. And another argument why the 20 or 30,000 shitcoins never have any chance of succeeding, because they're trying to compete with perfection.
Yeah.
So when Bitcoin was birthed, it was perfect. So there's no need to try to beat it because it was born perfect. So, and what we've seen since the last 10, 11 years is every single one of these 20 or 30,000 altcoins has failed miserably because they're competing with perfection. And you can't compete with perfection. Perfection means perfection. There's nothing any of these coins do that could be in any way construed as being superior to something that was born in its state of perfection as Bitcoin is. And I just would look to the market, and you tell me where in the market do you see anything that's remotely on the same zip code, in the same universe as Bitcoin, and there's just nothing there. It's already perfect. Yeah. This is, like 5,000 years ago, some guy came up with the wheel. It's like, here's the wheel. For those at home who are losing eyesight, like I do, make it in a bigger magic marker. Here's the wheel. Okay. Now this basic design, is perfect. There's nothing. Okay, that's it. That's the wheel. No one's improved on it. Bitcoin is like this. It's like, this is actually a stroke of genius. It does exactly what it should do. It's a perfect store of value. It's perfect money. It's portable. It's fungible. It's divisible. It's desirable. The attributes of Aristotle said would apply to gold. And this is Bitcoin.
What did the president of El Salvador seek to make Bitcoin legal tender?
The president has figured out that I don't need to futz around like trying to create a monetary model, and I don't need to try to compete with these other central banks. I don't need to have inflating paper money. I can just have Bitcoin take care of that.
Yeah.
The monetary policy is dictated by Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the monetary minister ultimately at the end of the day, and it does a perfect job. The emission rate is already algorithmically programmed. You've got the difficulty adjustment, which is the special sauce of Bitcoin. It's basically Adam Back's hash cash. Is the core of Bitcoin technology is Adam Back's hash cash plus the difficulty adjustment. Yeah. You put those two things together, and you have something that took 20 years to figure out by the cypherpunks and computer scientists who are looking to do this. As I said, in the 90s, I was trying to do the virtual money at that time. So for 20 years, they were looking for how to do money in a digital world. And so in 2008, we saw the white paper. In 2009, the Genesis block. And now in 2023, we know we were on the right path, because every single bank in the world and every single central bank in the world and all politicians who are lobbied by bankers in the world are putting all of their effort into trying to stop Bitcoin, which is great because it only makes the hash rate goes up, and therefore security goes up, and therefore price goes up.
And to close this crushing interview, this is a brilliant explanation of Bitcoin's price and volatility. This is the real reason why Bitcoin's prices move a lot.
And they are attacking it now. And, forget about price. Just look at hash rate. Look at a chart of hash rate. All that computational power is being thrown at the network.
Just keeps going up.
300
up
quintillion calculations per second, right? And so that's the metric you got to look at. Price, the volatility reflects the fact that the global financial world is fucked up. And this is true price discovery is in Bitcoin price discovery. Bitcoin price shows you how screwed up the world of finance is because it doesn't have bankers and politicians manipulating prices in a way to smooth it out, to make it look like there's no problem. Bitcoin telling you there is a problem. Like the volatility index is an index that uses on Wall Street to measure how much risk is in markets, the VIX index. And it tends to be a little bit volatile because it's an index of volatility. Bitcoin is the ultimate volatility index. That's not the thing that's volatile. It's everything outside of Bitcoin that's volatile. It's simply giving you a price signal of how volatile things are out there outside of Bitcoin, because the coins come every 10 minutes. The difficulty adjustment, kicks in. All the incentive models are brilliantly designed. It's the Sistine Chapel of money, right? It's all aesthetically gorgeous. It's the world that's volatile, not Bitcoin. And so this is understood by the president here in El Salvador, and the benefits have been great. I mean, on paper, they've got an unrealized loss, let's call it, 50 million, 60 million, but they've already booked 500 million in gains from tourism and the boost of the economy. At least, right?
Yeah.
So that's a huge economic boom.
Yeah.
Would you put, any corporation would die for those type of returns. And it totally rebranded the country from being the home of homicides to being a Bitcoin citadel nation.
Did you enjoy this video? Then please share with your friends and family on social media. People need to know what drives adoption and why prices are volatile, so they understand why Bitcoin is the perfect solution for the money. And please let us know in the comments below your thoughts about this. Remember, if you want to see more content like this, leave a like and subscribe so YouTube keeps showing you our content daily. Thanks, and see you tomorrow for more Daily Crypto.